Thank you for joining us for another BGS Advantage webinar. So today's presentation is from QS. It's called The Skills Gap, What Employers Want from Business School Grads. Today we'll be joined by Clarissa Figueroa. She's the Regional Marketing Director of Americas at QS. So QS is a global higher education institution that provides prospective graduate students and MBA students with support in pursuing grad school. This can take the form of many different offerings, from free resources available on their website to their in-person events that are hosted all over the world. So if you want to learn some more about QS, check out their link in the chat. And it's my absolute privilege today to introduce our speaker, Clarissa Figueroa. She's a seasoned marketing expert specializing in promoting higher education products, services, and events. She excels in designing impactful presentations and building media alliances to increase brand visibility. Her expertise includes managing regional partnerships, adapting marketing strategies to digital trends, and leading a multi-skilled marketing team while fostering collaboration and communication. Please join me in welcoming Clarissa to our virtual stage.
Thank you so much. That was a great introduction, and I'm happy to see I'm kind of tracking where everybody's coming from. So I'm happy to see that diversity on a national scale. So I'm really happy to be here today. I really love everything about this organization and what you guys are about. So I wanted to deliver something of really great impact. So I wanted to make sure that we engaged in some of a recent report that our organization put together, which I think is really great. So we wanted to kind of convert it into an opportunity for candidates to learn more about what they're seeking in this kind of opportunity. So bear with me as I pull the presentation. So a little bit about us. We are over 30 years, have experience on, we're thought leaders in the educational sector. We really have built relationships with more than 2,500 institutions, and we are very well known for three main things, which is the QS World University Rankings that really allows universities to have that sense of that study so that we can help them with that reputation, right? What are they known for? What are their base programs, or what are they most prominent in, or what are they doing really good in their institutions, and why you should consider them, right? And based on that, they follow those rankings. So a lot of universities that you may know are there. We launch the rankings for each season in June. #1 university from the US that was showcasing there was MIT this year. So you'll be able to see through our rankings, like where do they fall and what universities that you're interested in are falling under. And also, we are also known for the QS International Student Survey, where we really showcase or reach out to students from all over the world based on what they're looking for, to learn more about what they're seeking, what's working for them, what is of most interest. And it really helps universities and institutions enhance what they need to know about students and how can they really service the market better, or what are they doing right, or what can they improve. Also, the topuniversities.com, as Leslie so gladly shared earlier, it's our main website where we have all of the free opportunities and tools and resources to help any of you that are interested in joining the MBA or master's journey. In addition to that, we connect thousands of students per year in our events in different areas of the world, because universities have some recruitment goals and they know that we can help them find a quality candidate so that they can meet them and they can join their programs. Also, we have B2B conferences, we have partnerships and mobility management, we have support on enrollment solutions, we have unique insights and analytics like the one we're going to be sharing today that we have showcased for universities as well as students. And we have consulting and strategic advice through QS Apply, which is also a free service that is provided for students, and they get that support throughout their application or journey. And then speaking of our events, we will be in multiple cities. Again, we do this all over the world. But in North America, I see a few of you are in Dallas, in Houston, and things like that. If you are interested to connecting with 30, 70 universities, depending on the event, they're different size events. But we have universities from all over the world that come to these cities specifically to connect with students like yourself or professionals like yourself that would like to enhance their careers or opportunities by pursuing a master's and MBA. Doing these events, we don't only connect you with universities from different areas of the world in the United States, but we also have free professional headshots that you can come and take. You have also free resume reviews if you need to tweak that. And then we also have a discount test prep for GRE, GMAT, and other exams that you may be considering taking, in addition to some panel sessions and professional sessions that are going to be taking place. So, you know, you're welcome to join this event. Again, it's completely free. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out or just scan this QR code to register or find out more online to see which city is closer to you. And I look forward to seeing you there. In addition to that, we have our impact scholarships. We do have in topuniversities.com/scholarships more information about our US impact scholarships, but we also showcase scholarships from universities that are available. So we give them that space for them to publish all the scholarships they have, so you can have one place to find all. But as you can see, we have 7 scholarship opportunities around about $50,000. You can apply to multiple of these. And maybe in the future, we can have a scholarship presentation so you can learn more. But there are different prices, different topics that you need to consider for your application. And again, it's something that's very accessible, and we really encourage for you guys to apply as many scholarships as possible if you're already in this journey. So closing a little bit more on that, we can jump into a skills gap session. And just so you know, this is really a report that was compiled using perspectives from more than 16,000 employers within the employing business business graduates. So these responses were provided between January and April 2023. Again, we try to do this as often as possible in these reports. So you probably get a newer version, and we gladly let you know how these have shifted or changed so that you can have the most up-to-date information. But a little bit on the report, I want you to first see the face of our founder and president of the QS. And some of the things that are really highlights from this report is that employers focus is really on the skills, on the adaptability, digital proficiency, and collaboration. And we'll dig a little bit more on that in a bit. But in GME graduates, they really have a different set of skill sets. Grad school really prepare you and develop you in some ways that help you excel, especially in the data-driven decision-making and ethical leadership. Also, there's a growing need for building resilience in the face of constant flux and work change. And I think that that is very, very true and essential, because there was a world where there was not such a thing as working from home, or unless there was a snowy day, right? But now there's a world where we live in a hybrid environment, or you can have a remote work, or you know, you still have those 8 to 5 that is still needed. But again, there's constant change in careers regarding regardless of industry, and that is something that it's very much needed to be built throughout time. And as we dig a little bit deeper, some things that you should keep in mind is that 87% of companies expect to experience or already have some skills gap. And that short, again, it's really has the potential to cause really massive economic setbacks, with the US facing like 8.5 trillion loss by 2030. So again, there is a part in this discussion where we'll give you some tips on how to really stay in the competitive market when you are pursuing within your career. And if we go deeper, some of the things that you'll learn from this report is that there's really some soft skills that are required for you to enhance in order for you to kind of stay within that competitive in the competitive market. So some of the examples of the soft skills that really contribute to a positive personal reputation, it's really effective collaboration, resourceful problem solving, and business development and environmental, social, and governance. Those are some of the examples of this. What we're gonna see now is really the most in-demand skills from business school graduates, and that is the ability of working as a team. One of the great things that grad school delivers is really that experience of networking and building your network and finding like-minded individuals. There's a lot of like hands-on activities and practices that you do within your program that helps you prepare for what the real workplace looks like. I know in the bachelor's, they're doing really good at trying to encourage that, but you'll see more of that in the MBA or master's setting. Communication is another one of the soft skills that are in demand, especially in a work where we are virtual. It's very important that we learn how to communicate effectively in the workplace. And I think that also comes like with the generational changes that we are all used to that abbreviation via text message, or we're used to the comments on social media. And a lot of times we don't really also focus on like watching that grammatical portion of things, or assume that others know the lingo, right? Because there's also some new changes that are constantly. So really not only enhancing the how you communicate, but also the productive communication. And a lot of times that communication part, for me, my number one strength is communication, but a lot of times we find ourselves identifying what are those areas of opportunity. And I feel like a lot of times, one of the main basics of communication is also listening. So being a good listener is also part of communication because it goes two ways, right? So that's always something that I'm constantly practicing. Personally, I get too excited when I'm talking about a topic that I enjoy, and sometimes I don't allow the other person to share. So I think, there are different aspects of the communication soft skill that should be polished. The problem solving portion is also a great opportunity that is being brought up in the graduate area, because you do have that opportunity to, again, collaborate with others, figuring things out. And I think one thing that is important, as I am currently in an event that we are putting together, is that in here, we're going to have universities from all over the world coming in, and not only because they're seeking a diversity in culture, right? They're also seeking a diversity in the mindset, in the thinking, in the thought process, and problem solving in the workplace is as realistic as it is for the graduate programs that you pursue. So it definitely prepares you for that, and it's definitely something that is very well needed, and that we need to be polished in order for us personally and professionally that's needed. Also the active learning, staying sharp in the newest trends. Like I think that the AI is one of the new tools that has been available. So how much are you immersing yourself into that to apply into the workplace, right? So staying constantly active into understanding what's out there, what's new. And a lot of times platforms like LinkedIn Learning, right? They allow you to have those 20, 30 minutes on a specific topic. Now we're in a world where YouTube, there's a lot of people covering some topics where you can easily learn some things. So that active learning, that proactivity to stay on top of everything happening in the market is also something that could easily, that is also in demand currently for business school graduates. So on that note, I wanted to share that there are some employers satisfied with specific skills that were developed from business school. You can see a quote here from U.S. Head of Talent Acquisition in Novartis. But the number one is the ability to work in a team, right? We've already seen We already discussed how that has been a great part of the graduate programs. Also, this ethics and social responsibility, that interpersonal skill and communication. So again, in the percentage, there is a demand for this, but a lot of times in the business degree, you are covering most of the things that are in need or that are being pursued by this employer. So as Alessandra says in here, there is an increased need for industry partners in academia and entrepreneurs to closely collaborate to build programs that address these changing needs. And this is really a call for universities and institutions to get to understand or need how do you include programs that meet the expectations of employers, right? So that is part of one of the reasons why this data and this analysis is being put together. Also, as we go into the soft skills gap, you can see here the percentages based on satisfaction and importance on how some soft skills are being met versus what is in need. And as you can see, resilience and flexibility are the skills of the greatest gaps between perceived importance and satisfaction. Again, we will give you the link to the full report so that you can dig a little bit deeper into what some of these things are. But in the interest of time, I'm gonna move forward. There's also hard skills. Let's explain those, right? The hard skills really encompass and blend technical proficiency, creative thinking, and strategic management. And some of the examples that they have here is really that strategic competency. Sorry, that word will be the death of me. Competencias. And then there is the creative expertise and then technical skills like data analytics. On this note, what are the most in-demand hard skills from business school graduates? In this case, it will be the digital competency. And I think we talked about that AI portion. I personally, at the beginning, was a little bit afraid of jumping into the AI world. You know, and sometimes we have this idea of like, well, how much control do we want to give technology, right? But then it really helped me because he had navigated multiple websites at the same time to deliver the answer or deliver results for something that I was seeking, which saved me a lot of hours of research by just using one platform. So maintaining the digital competency in what's the new trends, but also how much knowledge that you have on like maybe the basics, right? The Excels or any new softwares that come out. So that kind of competency, I think, will be addressed on here. Then there's also the project management, the data analysis, and the business development. So those are some of the additional, those are the four top hard skills that are most in demand. And when we look a little deeper, we wanted to share, I wanted to share a quote from from Phil here. As AI continues to evolve and take on more transactional workplace tasks, the need for employees to possess a creativity, critical thinking, resilience, and a capacity to work well with others will continue to grow. And it's, again, let's think about how we used to do things before when we were in the workplace, but we were in an office and we used to be face-to-face, having constant meetings. That has evolved into virtual, and not everybody is able to successfully lead teams, collaborate. So there's a lot of factors in there that requires for you to really learn how to adapt to different personalities, different environments, different kinds of leaders, different kinds of collaborators. So again, that constant type of collaboration is also something that I think you have to adapt, because creativity come in different places, in different forms. And I think critical thinking at the same time. But it happens at times that we feel more productive when we are together in one scenario with others. And now it's time to kind of seeing how can I adapt to the new era, to the new world. You know, how can I build some of this resilience that is being expected, and things like that. So moving on to showing you the percentages on that was reported in the skills gap. As you can see here, we again put it back into the importance versus the satisfaction percentage. And in here, you can see how project management represents the scale of the greatest gap between perceived importance and satisfaction. And again, this is on the hard skills part, right? So I think hard skills and soft skills come hand in hand, and there are ways that we can identify how to get started and how to stay polished in this new work, in this new era. Talking a little bit about the AI and how, the emerging skills gap. Only 1 in 10 workers globally have the necessary AI skills, and 36% of employers prioritize problem solving as a key skill to work effectively with AI. And I think that, as I mentioned before, like I said, like I was a little bit afraid of maybe jumping into the ChatGPT or the AI or things like that. And from that perspective, I didn't realize how much more can I accomplish based on that, and how will I could use this tool in order for us to do some problem solving as well. So just keep that in mind. Also, teamwork is the most demand soft skill in North America. Again, I think that the programs that we put together creates a great opportunity to do that. But again, I think personally, teamwork has a lot to do with us being comfortable in our own skin, and also being able to master the skill of adapting to different personalities. Also, I think it goes hand in hand with communication, because you need to be able to let others communicate their ideas effectively before you agree or disagree, right? So I think all of these that you see in here go hand in hand with each other. But percentage-wise, you can see how teamwork and communication are kind of in the same area. And so it's definitely something that us as professionals and individuals need to work on. The digital competency is the most valued hard skill in North America by far. So I think that's definitely something you guys need to look into on seeing, what are your areas of opportunity and where do you excel as an employee or as a professional. And again, there are definitely opportunities for you to learn more on based on what you find out. Okay, then let me spend 30 minutes of my week on this kind of video or learning, or there's a lot of opportunities as well to get certifications and things like that. So identifying where you have opportunities and how to polish those is definitely something very well advised. As you can see here, we also provided the percentages, how we have the 5 top skills gaps, and that's the adaptability, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, communication, and teamwork. And adaptability really presents the greatest skills gap for North America employers. Again, goes back to, I think, being this report from last year is also understanding that we has made a big shift in 2020 on what we had expected in the past, of what the workplace would look like and what changes would look like. So now we have experienced a different kind of opportunity that way. So I wanted to also share a quote that to me is very, very essential, very key to share with you, from Maggie, from the Carlson School of Management. And the keyest finding on the skills gap of adaptability showcases how important it is for students to take advantage of any type of experiential learning opportunity their school or program offers. And many schools, included Carlson, have several ways to learn hands-on entrepreneurial skills through partnerships with startups, collaborations with universities-led innovators and researchers, and projects with corporations and nonprofit. Utilizing these experiences to augment your classroom learning is a great way to get comfortable with problem solving, dealing with ambiguity, and adapting to the constantly changing world of business. So definitely is a great nugget to kind of close in the report, but I exhort you to really spend some time on it so you can see what is out there, what are employers saying, and how can you really leverage your skill set and your talent to stay in the top market. I mean, to stay in the competitive market. But here are some tips, and I want to encourage you as we are kind of closing in some of the 4 ways you can beat the skills gap, to use the Q&A so that we can kind of go over those afterwards. But there are 4 ways you can beat the skills gap, and that is to maximize opportunities for experiential learning. What are some of the opportunities that are out there? Personally, I always find very intriguing to look into the chambers of commerce nearby. You know, sometimes you do pay for a membership, or really the BGS, right? You have a network of people. Are you leveraging those relationships enough, right? Are you surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals or other people in the industry to see what they're doing differently, to have those nurturing uh conversations that really trigger things that could be like, oh, that's something I haven't thought about, that's something that I would like to. So really maximize some additional hands-on opportunities. Like I said, there are some virtual opportunities, but what are some things that you can get involved in that can help you with some of these gaps? Also, ask employers what matters most to them in a new hire. I think that from my experience and conversations that I have with people that I've spoken to, it's like when you go to an interview, you don't really ask questions that are like, why should I pick you? Why should I work for you? What is the best thing about this team? What does this organization has to offer? What happened to what are some of the challenges of this role? There are some questions in the interview process that are very key because, to be honest, you're going to be spending most of the hours of your life invested in this employer. So as much as they're asking questions to see if you're the ideal candidate, also find out what are some of these things about this role that will make you stay here longer, because there is also a trend, not a trend, but something trending on people sticking with a job within 2-3 years, not that long lasting 10 years in a role. So really asking employers what matters to them, or what do you think this ideal candidate will bring to the table, and seeing what are some of those things that they say that really speak to you and you can bring to the table for this organization. I also find ways to develop soft skills. We discussed LinkedIn Learning. The webinars, this type of webinars that you're participating with BGS that we have put together is really great because, again, they do have a lot of other opportunities that they put together. So taking advantage of those free opportunities that are virtually available, but as well, like I said, there may be some networking events like coffee with like the, I just keep speaking of Chamber of Commerce because he has helped in my career. But the local Chamber of Commerce, if you're Latino, there's a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, right? So there's networks of people that you can really connect with, that can help you identify, actually, not only identify that, but that it helps you practice your communication. That helps you practice your elevator speech because you're connecting with other people, and you eventually turn that into a practice because you're positioning yourself as a great asset or as a great partner or collaborator. And that's something that I keep telling candidates is like, you never know who's going to be your next boss. So you want to definitely nurture those bridges and maximize your network. The last but not least is gaining practical project management experience. Again, there's a lot of certifications, a lot of like YouTube learnings that could be like quick learning experience and quick nuggets. For those of you that are very active on social media, just follow those influencers that really cover some of these, but do spend time doing research on how can you invest your time in some of these things. I know a lot of us use podcasting. So there's a lot of resources that can help you as you go learning on this. And measure, not make the best out of your time as well, right? So if you have Fridays, is your slowest day of the week, or Monday or Wednesday, just put 30 minutes any day of the week where you're just investing on yourself. Block your calendar, even if it's your lunch break, and just use that to watch a video or invest in some kind of learning certification or anything that can help you really polish this, because this is not only good for you or your current employer. This will help you add it to your LinkedIn. This will help you add it to your profile, to your experiences. So it's something that's not going to help you only personally, but also professionally, and not in the future, whenever you're ready to either get that promotion or shift industries or move to a better position, you have more that you can bring to the table. So that's it for me. I encourage you again, the report that we put together is called the skills gap, what employers want from business school graduates, and the link will be shared with you. We'll send a follow-up sharing more of the things that we discuss here so you can look at it in your own time. But Matt, I don't know if I pass it on to you or if we go over questions. What's next?
Yeah, we're gonna hop over to some questions here. Carissa, thank you very much for a very insightful presentation. And we're just gonna hop right into some questions here. Thomas dropped something over here. He said, these are some great statistics. I was wondering, are segmented versions of these data points available? For example, have you looked at individual industries such as tech, finance, etc.?
This is particularly based on the business degree, right? So for MBA, but I'd be happy to check in. I will add my email in the chat in a bit, but you're welcome to reach out to me directly for any additional questions on this particular matter. It's not live. The report is not live yet, but we may be able to have some data specific on industry. And if it's not available, this is great feedback for us to talk to our data, our insights team, so they can develop something like this. Because there is a lot of interest in the master's degree world, in different science, and tech and things like that. So I'll take this back with me, and I'll add my email in the chat, because I think I would love to owe you that answer and let you know what else is available. And maybe it's a matter of this is focus on business graduates, but we could consider doing another webinar focus on non-business degrees. Then I can discuss with Matt offline.
Thank you very much. All right, we have another question here from Alexis. They write, what would you recommend for people jumping back into the workplace, maybe from homemaking, caregiving, or having that gap in their career, that they may have that lagging experience?
I love this question because I'm married to a Marine, so I had to stay home for a year. And I realized how much of myself I was missing during the time that I was staying at home with my child. So after a year, I was like, I need to get back to the workplace. I need to talk to people. I need to do this. So, but I think it's really how you portray yourself. I recently had a friend that was out of the market. I think her daughter is 5 years old, and she's been out this whole time. So I think sometimes when you are starting later after so many changes in the world, there is a question of whether you have the latest knowledge on the latest trends. So can you adapt to the new world after so long, right? And I think what I would say is really how you position your questions in your interview. And you could definitely practice. I'm happy to, again, email me, like I'm happy to connect one-on-one and give you some tips on how to manage that. But, if you spend the time that you have as you are applying in developing new assets, getting up to speed with trends, really it's a matter of understanding what the job description is required and you adapting to that. Okay, what I don't have here, what do I need to polish that I don't know? Oh, we use HubSpot. I'm to throw that out there. Oh, they work with HubSpot. I haven't worked with HubSpot. I work with something else, with chip mail or something, or MailChimp, sorry. So let me see how it works. And you go to YouTube, see how a campaign is put together. Like, it's a matter of you really doing your research and really embracing what the job description and the requirements are, so that when you stand in front of the recruiter, you address those questions with the knowledge that I actually haven't been in the market because of this, but I'm ready to get back to speed. I saw that you guys require HubSpot. I am very familiar with how it is. I can guide you through that. So it's really the confidence that you answer those questions. And I think it's a matter of preparing prior to. But I think you would have to start at a lower scale, right? If you were a director at some point or a manager at some point, you're going to have probably to start lower prove your value in the organization and eventually kind of climb the ladder in that sense. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely think preparation and confidence are key there, right? All right, we have quite a few questions stacking up here, so I'm going to try and get through these with the time remaining that we have. Rachel asks, do you have any recommendations for professionals that are pivoting in their careers? Any recommendations for identifying or addressing that specific skills gap?
Do I have any? Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to
Yeah, no
pivoting
worries.
careers or
Can we
industries. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any recommendations for professionals who are pivoting in their careers or changing careers?
Okay. Yes. Yes. Sorry. I think
Yeah.
I don't know if you're already holding or pursuing an MBA. I think that depending on your degree, you can easily manage. So I like to really stay on top of things. So my suggestion is, I don't know if you already have what area of business would like, that'll probably give me a little bit more clarity into how to address that. But I think again, it's a matter of identifying, depending on the industry you want to be in, how does what you do already applies to those new roles of the new industry, or really trying to see how you can learn within your own business. Like, for example, I do marketing, but I'm really like the graphic design portion and design team. So I try to cross collaborate, to do some cross learning within the institution to prove my value or to learn something new. So I can, eventually, if I'm ready to move elsewhere, I can add that to my resume. Hey, I did marketing, but I also have these skills that I experienced, I adapted to, or that I have knowledge for, or I have experience on, and it really portrays into what you want to do. I think that it's very hard in the industry because a lot of times it's the way that your title is said, like, oh, she's marketing, then she may not be good at tech, right? So it's really how you tweak your resume to really, again, adapting to whatever you're applying to and referencing those keywords from that employer or application so that it can really cross-reference some of the things that they're seeking for. Hope that answers your question.
All right, we have another question from Cone here. I already have an MBA and would graduate with a certificate that's considered valuable to employers. However, most jobs I see are only looking for experience. So I guess they're looking for a way to kind of bridge that gap between the experience they have with their MBA and the experience that they're getting in the job.
Well, I think that also thinking about this is a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have that experience, but there is some part of certain jobs that you have actually done something like that, right? So when you apply to a job where you haven't managed other people, but you actually have managed a project, that is relevant experience. So sometimes you may have experience in some of the things that they're requiring, and it's a matter of how you portray that on your resume, right? So I think just keep in mind that even though they're looking for experience, this is the thing. And my sister told me that a long time ago, and it's like, the resume gets you the interview, but the interview gets you the job. So really, it's how you portray or answer some of these questions that will make you stand out from others. So they may require the experience, or they may tell you that you don't have the experience in this, but it's a matter of really detailing how, hey, it's not saying, oh, I don't have experience in that. It's no, I had a similar experience in that, and this is how it worked out. And then you speak on that so they can see, oh yeah, that makes sense. They can easily translate into what we're looking for. So it's a matter of really translating that better to see if you can have a better chance in that sense. And again, try to leverage some of those. I know I keep saying LinkedIn learning, so it could be any digital learning, but what are some of those things that they need experience in, and that you can kind of take advantage of those things to exercise them in some area as a volunteer in some way or shape or form, or engaging with other partners, or in your circle or your network, right? Like, how can you share that story? Again, these are great questions. Like I would love to, this is great coffee conversation. So I could talk about this all day, but please connect with me. I would love to go dig a little deeper and help you in any way that I can.
Thank you. Let's see. Got a few more questions here. Rachel wants to know if QS has any data around skills gaps in the EU.
Yes, actually, in the link of our report, I just showcased US because I thought mostly of the person that would be here would be in the North America region, but there is a section where they break down the gaps based. There's actually different reports on different candidates, so you'll be able to break it down. So that is in QS.com, in the white reports and white papers and reports, and then you'll be able to kind of track that by location. That's a great question. Yes, we have from all different parts of the world.
Let's see. So we have Kunal here. They say they're struggling with some advice that's being given out by HR recruiters. They see a lot of businesses want soft skills, but often HR recruiters talk about having the technical skills on the job description and leaving off things like collaboration. And so they're wondering, how do you showcase your soft skills on a resume?
You have to also consider and think about, this is a hard question because, for example, if you work, like, I'm just thinking about my current work environment. If I'm trying to hire somebody and you have everything to be the right candidate, but I really need you to know how to navigate yourself through a software like HubSpot or like do Excel reports or whatever, like I really need that to be polished. So I would say that rather that you missing out on those skills that they're requiring, really invest your time in seeing how you can learn to use those. But showcasing your soft skills is a matter of giving the right example on how you have used that in the real life. So maybe when you have these interviews, you're not really showcasing the best example that maximizes you as the strong leader or problem solver that you are. So you need to dig deeper into those experiences that you have that really created an impact, or at times is seeing what kind of work you're applying to and making up, like, if this happened to me, I would have handled it this way, right? So it's a matter of building this story and how you would handle it so that they can see, okay, this person may qualify. And then really showcasing how much of a fast learner you can be if that is something that is required. But I think it sounds like you also need to make sure that you are looking at all the tech and requirements and descriptions that is needed so that you can adapt or prepare better for those interviews, or even adapt your resume utilizing that. But happy to take that discussion further. I'll also add my LinkedIn here as well so that we can connect. I know a lot of you already did, so I appreciate you guys doing that. But yeah, sorry, we can take this offline. And I want you guys to know that I do marketing, but I love this career preparation, this resume, this professional building. So that's why this is my offsite passion, I would say. So yeah, what's the next question?
All right, we have one here. It says the average half-life of skills is now less than 5 years, and in some tech fields, it's as low as 2.5 years. How does this reflect on the MBA graduates, especially those who graduated a decade ago?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the thing is that it's constantly evolving. I think it's just a matter of it's a hard question because it's a matter of trying to stay competitive and trying to stay like it you have to be self-taught. You have to be, constantly checking on the trends, especially in the industry that you're in. A lot of people don't understand the power of influence. For example, in my area, And as much as I would like to collaborate with others that used to before deliver what my goals are, there is power in the influencing depending on the industry that you have. And, it's a matter of, really opening yourself to the new things that are trending, and it's really staying on top of the market. However long life those skills stay, like you have to stay sharp. Every year you need to set a goal, or a monthly goal, or something new you're going to learn, or something new you're going to find out, or something that you need to enhance or pick back up, and just really, work on that, so that it whether it's 10 years of have a life, like you continuously learning. I hope that answered your question, if I understood it right.
All right, I think we have time for one last question here.
Okay.
So Sky asks, how can we anticipate what jobs or specific tasks within jobs are going to be overtaken by AI?
I think we actually working on an AI report, but there's a lot of data around that. And, take advantage of your LinkedIn connections as well. There's a lot of people, and that's another thing. LinkedIn is an amazing tool. I don't know. They're not paying me for this, I promise. It's just like I found myself in there a lot, because of all the things that they had to offer. But I am following people that are constantly trending on these things, or doing research on these things. But I think that I think we're building a report. If it's not available already, let me look into that, and I'll just send it to Matt. Maybe he can add it to a follow-up link with some of these links. But I think that there's a lot of constant research happening. But there's a reality of things, right? Like, people know when things are made by AI and it's not really being used as a tool, but is using as a do my job kind of thing. So I think that there is a real aspect that business and industries are seeking on the humanization of messages, of content, on products, right? So I think that's something that you need to keep in mind. There's a lot of customer service things, like automated messages that I've been taking over. And like, even when you call your bank, they're trying to satisfy some of the, or help with some of that staffing, things like that. So there's a lot of things that are changing. I don't have the right percentage or on anything at this time, but I would like to know as well. So I'll follow up with Matt on that link or any other information. But I think there's a lot of information and data trending on that you can find in trusted sources. So yeah, let me follow up with that, with more information on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say learn how to use AI,
Yeah.
learn how it can enhance your job,
Yes.
and don't just assume it's going to take over an entire sector.
Yeah.
It will enhance your ability to do things. It will make your job more efficient. But there's often, people get very scared, like, oh, it's going to take over X sector.
Yes. Yes.
In marketing, we do a lot of copywriting.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, copywriters are, potentially going to be phased out or something along those lines. But like you mentioned, people can always tell when something's written by AI.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in the grad school applications, like this candidate, like students can tell when something was not made for them. I mean by them. So it's funny that you brought that up, because it's easily patched when something like that can take place. But I agree. I think having that, you are putting yourself in a position where you are maximizing or dominating the AI within your field, and it really helps you bring so much value to the organization, your career, and yourself,
Yeah, yeah,
So I agree with
exactly.
you.
Well, that's going to be the end of the presentation, end of Q&A here. Thank you everyone that took the time to write in the chat, to ask questions, and to just attend today. Really appreciate everyone who is here. And I want to again extend a big thank you over to Clarissa, who is a veteran at this point. She's done a couple of these with us. And so thank you very much for joining us today. And it was such an insightful conversation.
Thank you so much. No, thank you for having me. And again, I really look forward to another one. Hopefully, maybe I'll talk to Matt to see, from the future, what are other topics that you guys would like to see more of, or that we can bring, or any other reports or anything that we can digest down so that it could help you in your journey or in your career. So again, we'll stay in touch. Hopefully you get to see more of me, and I appreciate your time and for being here today. Have a good one.
Thank you, everyone. Again, if you need any of the links or anything that we dropped in there today, we're going to add those to an email as a follow-up. You could reach out to Clarissa on LinkedIn. She also, I believe, dropped her email in here as well. That will also be in the follow-up email. Thank you again, everyone, and take care.